Well, the main contenders vying to save Virgin Australia will be revealed today. The Queensland Government is willing to put $200 million on the table, although it hasn't ruled out increasing that offer. It could face competition from up to 20 other bidders. It's been previously reported that mining magnate Andrew Twiggy Forrest could be one of the interested parties. Joining me for more on this, I'm joined by Warren Staples, Senior Lecturer in the School of Management at RMIT University. Thanks very much for your time. I guess just to start with, the commentary seems to be so many potential bidders, one of them eventually will be successful, that Virgin Australia will continue. Is that your definitive take as well?
A little bit that. There's still a lot of water to pass under the bridge here because these are non-binding expressions of interest. So it's been an interesting process of people being mooted and parties interested. And there's still a bit to see and firm up what the likely bidders will be, but it's certainly going to be interesting to see who's announced today.
So it goes from today is the non-binding offers, and after that it's crafted down as a language into serious binding offers. What's your best prediction on how many we end up there? Because that's the crucial step, right?
It is. Look, and the big issue here seems to be the enormous debt that Virgin Australia carries. They have almost $7 billion in debt, and so some type of arrangements will need to be made there. The Queensland Treasurer colourfully commented that some of those creditors would need to take a haircut, but really that's going to be a sticking point for anybody acquiring, or whether they just look to let it fail and then look to pick up some of the assets and restart something completely different.
As for the creditors, a lot of ordinary Aussies out there will have had flights booked with Virgin. These turn into something called the travel bank. So there's, plenty of money sitting out there. Do we know what could happen to that? Could there be a bid where they say all travel banks are just nil, they're zero, or would there be a real eagerness to keep customers, keep some goodwill, and at least have what's spoken about as a matched travel bank? So you can spend $100 on it at the same time as you spend a new $100 on a Virgin flight, for example.
Look, I think that's a possibility. I think what they will look to do is they won't be looking to start up and kind of have bad will with customers. So I think that's a possibility. I think anything that restarts, though, has to be a bit more measured in its strategy. The Queensland Government have kind of suggested they tip in $200 million. This is going to need to be investors with very deep pockets, with some aviation expertise and with a very long-term strategy. And I don't think that they can afford to be engaging in price wars from, Melbourne to Port Macquarie or, for $30 or the like. They won't be able to do that. That will probably lead to our next airline collapse.
What did you make of the Queensland Government? So you're saying $200 million is not a lot. They'd be taking some sort of small stake. Does this actually help anyone out, this money? It was described as a joke by some federal government MPs, some federal coalition MPs. It's called Project Maroon, and I'm always a little bit sceptical about these sort of, go Queensland moments when we're talking about a business decision. What did you make of all this?
Sure. Look, I think it's not a huge stake, and the difficulty is, if you think of the history of Virgin Australia, is they've had passive shareholders with the four major investors being Singapore Airlines, Etihad and the two Chinese group. Now, there's nothing to say that government airlines can't work. Without government involvement, we wouldn't have had airlines in Australia. So it's not that government can't work, but it is a small stake, right, and a lot more would be needed to make this sustainable and successful. So it's really a watch and see. And obviously there is a bit of Queensland politics playing into this from both sides.
All right, so not a game changer. Warren Staples from RMIT will continue to look on today, a big day, when that announcement comes out as to the next step of those non-binding bidders. Thank you.